My name is Mark Bellamy. I'm the director of the Africa Center. We are here today to honor a distinguished American soldier and an Africanist, General Kip Ward. There will be more to say about that a little bit later in the proceedings. I did want to, at this time, welcome our African ambassadors, our African chiefs of mission. Thank you for being with us today. Ambassador Sorobun from Mauritius, where are you, sir? If you would raise your hand. Thank you, sir. And Ambassador Bali from Algeria, thank you for joining us. Look forward to talking to each of you a little later on. We're going to have more to say later in the proceedings. Please enjoy your lunch, and we'll be back to you. We'll be back to you in a little bit. Thank you. Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, ladies and gentlemen, and colleagues, past and present, from the U.S. government. Among them, Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Joe McMillan, Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Ambassador Vicki Huddleston, Ambassador Richard Roth, Senior Advisor in the Bureau of African Affairs at the State Department, Ambassador Jim Morocco, who is my counterpart at the Near East and South Asia Center, Ambassador Peter Chavez, who is my predecessor at the Africa Center, and Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Teresa Whalen, a longtime friend and supporter of the Africa Center. Thank you all for being with us today. Thank you also, Karen Marmot, who is the representative of Africa Command here in Washington. Thanks for being with us. And of course, thank you, General Ward and Joyce, for giving us all a very good reason to convene this afternoon. We have one important empty chair here today, and that was Ambassador Mary Carlin Yates, who has been in email contact with us almost continuously over the past 5 days, trying to find a way to attend today's event. Ambassador Yates is Special Assistant to the President for Africa, and as many of you know, this is a very busy week on African affairs here in Washington. The White House has 2 heads of state visiting this week, our President Jonathan of Nigeria, President Bongo of Gabon, and Mary tried as she might, couldn't break free, and we learned this at 8 o'clock last night, but she did send a nice message that I agreed to read on her behalf. So I would like to read this message to General Ward and to all of you from Ambassador Yates. She says, "I sincerely regret from the bottom of my heart that I cannot be with you in person. That was my plan, but my work to promote Africa at the highest levels at the White House had to take precedent today at the last minute. Thank you, ACSS, for this tribute. Today is a day to celebrate the extraordinary career of an extraordinary general and leader and human being, William Kip Ward. My life is better for having had the privilege and honor to work with him in not one but 2 positions. First as the European Command, in the European Command, as his political advisor, and then as his deputy for civil and military affairs at Africa Command. What a ride." It's an exclamation point after that. The operative part of that last sentence was work, because building the new unified command, building any new unified command, and an interagency one at that, has to be one of life's most difficult assignments. It was more than hard, it was almost impossible. Those first 6 months were like climbing mountains every week and starting over at the bottom the next. Our efforts to build the Africa Command, dedicated to Africa, were challenged and misunderstood everywhere by our partners on the continent, in the halls of our government agencies, in the think tanks, on college campuses, and in the press. But we continued to persevere because we believed in the concept and also in the leadership of this phenomenal man. We started with just a few dozen military and civilians at Kelly Barracks, and as we gathered in those early months for Kip Ward's famous all-hands meetings, and morale-boosting pep talks, one story stuck with me, which General Ward would frequently use in closing. First, he told everyone to look to their left and to their right at their teammates, because we were all in this together, and we were building a team. And then he instructed each of us, no matter what our position or what our rank, and in all of his stentorian voice, that at the end of the day, at the end of every day, you need to ask yourself what you have done that day to make each of those teammates' day and their work better, or to help them. And that's pretty darn good advice in just about any line of work, and it's a great way to build a team. Finally, I would like to pay tribute to General Ward for his genuine admiration, enthusiasm, and affection for the African continent and its many leaders, civilian and military. I could tell many on-the-road stories about him. Some of them might even make him blush. But I did witness over and over again his diplomatic acumen and his desire to learn and share and build genuine security partnerships for the United States of America. Whether patiently waiting for hours for a certain president, eating goat off sticks the size of branches at a training camp, or being dressed down for almost an hour by a certain foreign minister for something totally out of his control, he rose above it all and reached out his hand of friendship and built true partners on the continent. Thank you, General Ward, for your remarkable service to our nation, and thank you for letting me tag along for a few years. From Mary Yates. The Africa Center Visionary Award for Achievement in Peace and Security in Africa was established by the Africa Center in 2006 to honor an individual for exceptional service in addressing security and governance issues in Africa. Both military and civilian officials have received this award. The first recipient was Alpha Omar Konare, the former president of Mali and chairperson of the African Union. The following year, Graça Machel of Mozambique was recognized for her work promoting human rights and human security. In 2009, John Gitongo, the courageous Kenyan anti-corruption campaigner, won the award. And we are very honored to have with us today two previous recipients of this award. Retired General Lamine Cissé of Senegal won the award in 2008. General Cissé is known to many of you. He has had a distinguished career as a military officer in his home country of Senegal. He's also been a very busy diplomat and peacemaker in his post-military career. He is a distinguished international fellow and alumni of National Defense University as well. And last year's winner, General Martin Agwai of Nigeria, is also with us today. And his wife, Ruth. Now, Martin is also a distinguished graduate of National Defense University. I don't think that's a prerequisite for this award. General Agwai has had a distinguished career, military career as well, at the head of Nigeria's armed forces, and has led some of the most difficult peacekeeping operations in Africa, for which he has won wide respect and recognition. Now, General Ward was good enough last year to offer a few comments on the occasion of General Agwai receiving the Visionary Award, and General Agwai has generously agreed to reciprocate this year. So Martin, I'm going to ask you to take the microphone and share some thoughts with us.